house always wins. Play long enough, you never change the stakes. The house takes you. Unless, when that perfect hand comes along, you bet big, and then you take the house. Been practicing this a little bit. Did I rush it? Felt like I rushed.
That was good. I liked it.
What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the Big Easy Bets podcast. I'm your host, Logan, and with me in the control booth is Bam.
Yo.
Nick is not here. Nick Von Brick is Nick Von Sick. For the first time, I think, since we started this podcast, we're going to do an episode during football season with me flying solo up at the desk, but we're going to work our way through it. Hit the like and subscribe button if you don't mind. This is episode 236, College Football Week 7, NFL Week 6. How are you feeling? How was your weekend? No, not betting, just overall.
Oh, it was a good weekend. Went to the Saints game.
Oh, really? Got our first win. Mine was bad. I woke up Friday morning, went to go motion myself to the, not even get up out of bed, just to motion myself to the top of the bed. Like I pushed my head down into my pillow, and then it felt like somebody stabbed me in my neck, and my entire neck locked up, all my shoulders, everything. It's happened before. I have neck problems. You're a chiropractor, and yet I have debilitating neck problems. So that was bad. And then you've got Nick over here hanging on by a thread. Keep him in your thoughts and prayers. There's a chance he came down with a case of the Raiders +7, but he in all seriousness, he's sick. He needs your thoughts and prayers. So we're hanging on by a thread. They tried to take us out. They tried to take us out this past weekend, but they sent their best shot, and they missed. So we're back. It's an interesting board this week. We're going to see. We're going to navigate our way through it, especially in the NFL. It's difficult once you hit the bye weeks, and it's hard to find a handful of plays. But, yeah, so we're hanging on by a thread. You had a good weekend?
Decent weekend.
You keep looking at your bets. I'm not talking about your bets, just in life, because I'm not even kidding.
It was cool going to the Saints game and finally see our first win. The Dome was like almost an away game at first. Like one half of the stadium was all blue, and then it was just kind of like Saints made a good play, you would hear this half of the stadium.
Yeah.
Giants would make a play, you would hear that half of the stadium. But
no, we have a serious problem where tickets are being sold to the opposing team at an alarming rate, the likes of which we haven't seen in a long, long time. And that's what happens when you're bad. But that's also what happens when you've got Gail Benson asleep at the wheel, just allowing this to happen. That we used to have the number one home field advantage in the NFL, and that's non-existent now. It's like in L.A., the Rams and the Chargers, they don't really have home games because they've got the new stadium, they moved the teams, and they've got the majority of their fan base not where they're playing their home games. And you're going to see with the Raiders as well, more than likely. The Saints should not be in that category, but we are. And they said it when the Niners were there, and I've seen it firsthand as well. A lot of the opposing team's fans will fill up the Superdome these days, and it is not good. But the best way to mitigate that is to put a winning team on the field. And the Saints did break through with their first win. We felt like it was a very good spot for it. We were both on it. It was a contest play for us. Spencer Rattler played well. Jackson Dart didn't. A lot of turnovers from the Giants, but the Saints will fight. The Saints are scrappy. They're playing hard for Kellen Moore. He got his first win. Spencer Rattler also got his first win. The future, I won't say it's bright, but it's promising. You are moving in the right direction. You have other just – we could be – let's put it this way. We could be in the Jets circumstance where they just got first-year coach as well. The Jets are fucking terrible. Terrible. From top to bottom, they look like – you want to talk about asleep at the wheel. It looks like Aaron Glenn's asleep at the wheel. And I'm an Aaron Glenn guy. He was former Saint coach, all of that. It doesn't look good over there. There is nothing promising going on in New York, really for either team. But yeah, so the Saints break through with a win. So Nick gave me all of his picks. I will relay them to you. He's doing very well in his locks. Everybody's doing well in the NFL, all across the board. Myself, Nick, and Bam. Everybody's had a very profitable start to the NFL season. Like I said, once you hit bye weeks, it becomes a little bit more tough. Just less games to pick from, less matchups that look appealing. But we're going to see what we can do. Again, hit that like and subscribe button if you don't mind. Episode 236. It's crazy that we're already in college football week 7. I say this every single year where it just flies by, and you got to enjoy it. It's hard to enjoy it sometimes whenever you are betting on Minnesota plus 24, and you got to watch Ohio State just absolutely mop the floor with them for the entire day. It becomes tough to enjoy it, but stay in the moment. The season goes by quick. I got a couple things to dive into, and then we will get into the best bets. It's going to be a shorter episode than normal. Mark Sanchez got stabbed. You saw that?
Yeah.
That's what the headline read. Mark Sanchez stabbed. Everybody goes, oh, my God. We live in a crazy world. What is going on? Hug your loved ones. We're not safe out there. Then the rest of the story came out. Mark Sanchez, look, I've never done angel dust, but that sounds like a guy who was maybe on a little bit of dust, okay? Mark Sanchez was running wind sprints in a back alley. He aggressively tried to break into an elderly man's car. I think he was a delivery driver. This guy felt so strongly in danger. I think Mark Sanchez was on top of him, roughing him up, that he stabbed Mark Sanchez multiple times. And Mark Sanchez was allegedly piss-ass drunk in Indianapolis because he's calling the game the next day. He's getting blacked out, running wind sprints in a back alley and assaulting the locals. That's one of the craziest stories and a perfect example of why you got to wait for the whole story to come out, because they go, Mark Sanchez got stabbed, and we go, oh, my God. Oh, my God, Mark Sanchez? And then it's like, yeah, Mark Sanchez was a serious threat to society that night. And I guess maybe deserved to be stabbed. I'm not, I guess, the one to make that call, but.
It said he suffered a severe laceration to the side of his face, penetrating all the way through his left cheek.
Oh, my God. He stabbed him in the fucking face. Dude, that's crazy. Imagine the guy at first was like, that's Mark Sanchez. Like, what, did he say something about the butt fumble or something? Like, what? I would love to just have seen this interaction take place to where you just see a guy getting assaulted by Mark Sanchez. Mark Sanchez wasn't a bad broadcaster either. He was a decent broadcaster.
Oh, wait, it was the other guy that got stabbed through the cheek.
Hold on. Mark Sanchez was stabbing people as well? Regardless, I know Mark Sanchez got stabbed. They had him on video walking after it happened. I don't know. I don't know really what to make of it, but I thought it was pretty funny just to watch the people backtrack where they're like, oh, my God, Mark's one of the nicest guys ever. Keep him in your thoughts. And then they're like, ah, shit. It's like the Homer Simpson meme where he fades back into the bush. Like, fuck, Mark. So, yeah, we'll see. We'll see how that develops. But I'm going to go out on a limb and say you're probably never going to see Mark Sanchez call an NFL game ever again. I'm not going to make that a guarantee, but if I had to bet on that. What else? You saw Jonathan Gannon got fined $100,000 by the NFL because he, I guess you call it hit. I wouldn't call it a punch, but he hit Emarcado, the guy who, for the Cardinals, who was going in to score the touchdown and did the very popular drop the ball before the goal line. The Cardinals then proceeded to collapse against the Titans, a game in which they should have been up 3 to 4 scores midway through the fourth quarter if they scored that touchdown. The Titans didn't come all the way back and win the game. And on the backs of Cam Ward throwing an interception that somehow got fumbled, tossed around into the end zone, and recovered for a touchdown. Nick was on the Titans plus 7.5, so he was very happy to see that. But, yeah, Jonathan Gannon is very firmly on the hot seat, and I would imagine on his way out the door very soon. The NFL is not going to pursue any more disciplinary action, but you can't really hit your players. Even if, don't get me wrong, if I was on the wrong side of that, I would have been begging for the coach to smack the shit out of him. But even no matter how bad you want to, you can't really do it. He was mad though. He kind of reacted like everybody on their couch would have reacted on the wrong side of that. So that was interesting. Another coach in the NFL hanging on by a thread. Mike McDaniel is about as broken as I've ever seen an NFL coach. They collapsed against the Panthers. It looks like the team is actively packing it in right before our eyes, and we're 5 weeks into the season. The Dolphins are packing it in. Mike McDaniel gets up there in the post-game presser and stutters for 20 seconds throughout each question and goes, I mean, he was, and then gives you some weird answer that you got to decipher. He's the poster child of not fit to be a head coach in the NFL. Very good offensive mind. He'll find an offensive coordinator position in a heartbeat, I'm sure. But this has been a complete dumpster fire since they got rid of Flores and McDaniel came in. And he's clearly a weird guy, like we've talked about before, him yelling at Dan Marino when they were honoring him at like halftime. He's screaming at him they're going to break all of his records. And he's a strange guy, but it just he doesn't do it for me with the joggers pulled up halfway up his calf, and that's not the guy I want to lead a football team. You want to call up some fucking double reverse trick plays and all of that, you can wear that outfit. But if you got to lead the team and we got to get you to fire us up and motivate a group of men, that's not the guy I want to do it. Did you see LeBron's second decision?
Yeah.
LeBron
That was insane.
LeBron has somehow, year after year, just doubled down on being the biggest cornball in the league. It really is crazy. And he's tried to self-anoint himself as the GOAT. He's not. Michael Jordan's the GOAT. If anybody wants to have that debate or that discussion, we can have it. But you're never going to be able to top 6 for 6 in the finals, never go into a Game 7, be in the face of the league. Michael Jordan is far and away the most popular athlete of all time. But LeBron just tries so hard to be cool, and Michael Jordan never had to try to be cool. He just was. The stories of the $1 million putts, and he's drinking Miller High Lifes in the locker room, smoking cigars. He was just cool. LeBron's reading the first page of every book for show, and he's way too PR trained, and he's trying to be politically correct at every single turn, and he's got his hands in too many different things that you're oversaturated with LeBron James, and he's just a cornball. That's who he is through and through, and that's who he'll always will be, no matter how hard he tries. It
reminded me kind of Snoop Dogg.
Uh-huh.
You remember whenever he came out and he posed, he said, "I'm quitting smoke."
Yeah.
I'm quitting smoking. And it was a commercial about the smokeless fire pits. It was kind of like the same thing that he was trying to like follow, I guess, but it's
just shameless promotion, and it's like, why? What are you doing that for? You're LeBron fucking James. You don't need to do this ridiculous shameless promotion. And then it caused the ticket prices for the Lakers to jump up 20x because they're like, he's retiring, and then people went and paid a crazy amount of money for his retirement tour tickets. Surprise, it's Hennessy. Good job, LeBron. Let's fucking get people to fall off the wagon and pick up the bottle again. Jesus Christ. Last thing, and then we'll do a quick little Circa Millions recap, and then we'll recap college football. Nobody was on it, so I want to talk about it. But Penn State had arguably the most shocking loss that I've ever seen in college football. To go toe-to-toe with Oregon, you go to overtime, you nearly win. You go on the road to take on a UCLA team that hadn't won a game. I could be mistaken, but I don't think they had a lead ever throughout this entire season until they played Penn State. At some point, you are who you are, and that's the narrative with big game James Franklin. Can't win the big one. It's incredible. I was scratching my head. I couldn't believe that they did this. Nico Amaliava made what looked like the worst decision of all time in terms of money in college football, just overall decision to go from Tennessee to UCLA. This UCLA defense is so bad. This is not a good football team. And every single year we come in with these overhyped expectations of Penn State. This year more than any, it's been this season of overhyped quarterbacks, overhyped teams. Just the media did a masterclass of making you think players that are bad would not be bad. But this really might be a top 3 college football upset of all time given the circumstances. The fact that they lost this game the way they did, or at all, is crazy. And if you're Penn State, you have to move on from James Franklin. There's no other way around it. It is who he is at this point, because you're not making the playoff. You're just not. You can't drop 2 games back-to-back like that. You still got to go play Ohio State. You're not making it. You're just not. So what do you want? You want to be competitive every year on paper until you play teams that are good? Or do you want to go out and try to find somebody that can – it's the story of college football these days. Every single one of these teams are like, we can't the buyout's too big. We can't get rid of these coaches. Well, at some point you have to. You're going to have to buy them out, or you're just going to be stuck in purgatory. So I can't believe Penn State did that. I don't know. What a win for UCLA. Right after they fire Deshaun Foster. They fire the head coach, Taylor's oldest time, rally around the new guys, and they pull off the biggest upset of the season by far. All right, Circa Millions. We went 2-3 last week. We've been very indecisive this year, and it's unfortunate. I had Patriots and I had the Jaguars. Patriots Sunday night plus 7.5. They won the game outright. Jaguars plus 3.5 against the Chiefs last night. They won the game outright. Incredible game, which we'll get to in a second. Neither one of those were contest plays for us. The Raiders were, and that was a fucking tough watch. The Raiders absolutely stink. We keep trying to fade the Colts. We're not believers in it yet. Maybe eventually we'll wake up to it, but we didn't this past week. Our wins in the contest were the Saints -2, and then we had I'm honestly blanking on it. I know our losses were the Raiders, the Seahawks -3.5, which this one we'll get to it in the recap, but offensively the Seahawks did what they needed to do. This was just Baker's good. It's time to wake up and smell the roses. Baker Mayfield's a very good football player. The Cleveland Browns are a shit show of an organization. Baker Mayfield's a good football player. And then we had the Chargers. That was one that's where we're indecisive, and we're adding plays that we shouldn't, and we're shying away from plays that we actually are wagering on and should be in. The Chargers were on their way to go up 17-0. Quentin Johnston fumbles, and then the fucking wheels just fell off. It was insane. Ladd McConkey had probably the most impressive punt return you'll ever see. Got called back because the guy tried to be a hero and blocked the punt, ran into the punter. It was an extremely unfortunate series of events. And then Amari Hampton got hurt. The right tackle got the Chargers are just they have so many injury issues right now. It's really a shame because they had a serious chance to do something. If they can get healthy quick, maybe they can make a run at it because Justin Herbert is extremely good. But yeah, that was tough. So we went 2-3 in the contest. Not what we were looking for to start out the second quarter. But we're going to keep plugging away at it. All right, we'll recap college football and then try to find some winners. So I started my week off with West Virginia plus 19.5. This was fun because BYU, it's weird because when you look at the box score and all of that, BYU had over 500 yards of offense. I wasn't impressed with BYU. There was a lot of explosives. There was a lot of playing man and missing a tackle and then off to the races. Overall, though, I felt like West Virginia did a pretty decent job. I know that sounds crazy. The quarterback, though, is fucking terrible. And I said that I didn't think whoever they went with was going to make a difference, meaning I thought they both were going to suck. So Wilkins threw what was basically a pick six right off the bat after they got a good stop and got the ball back. Long story short, they go to the fourth string, and I don't even know his name. I'm going to pull it up. Scotty Fox Jr., 3 for 3, 54 yards and a touchdown. I'm talking with 30 seconds left, a fucking dime to the back right corner of the end zone to get inside the number. They lose by 14, which is perfect for us. A little scary there because they got that. I'm on cloud 9. BYU got a good kick return, if I remember. Or no, maybe they did the onside kick. All that matters is BYU very strongly considered scoring. And I was like, what the fuck is going on? I think they got it down maybe even inside the 10-yard line and then decided to kneel on it. They were at the 19. But yeah, LJ Martin had a 32-yard run, so worst nightmare. They recover the onside kick. First play, they bust one for 32. And, I mean, he was close. He was one shoestring tackle away from scoring this, and you would have never heard from me again. I could fucking promise you that. But they cover the number. Then we switch over to turn the page. We go to Saturday, and we started out good. Cincinnati, -1.5. We got 2 winners under our belt. Cincinnati was beating the brakes off of Iowa State. It was like 31-7. It quickly went south after that. Iowa State made this a sweat when it didn't need to be because Cincinnati was dominating this game like I thought they would. They ran for 260 yards. That's what I said. That in the trenches, they have an advantage. Iowa State can't get any pass rush, and they're outmatched in the run game. Cincinnati ran it all over them, 260 yards. And then somehow Iowa State, there was a lot of fluky circumstances, and Iowa State got to do the score right before half and get the ball back at halftime and double dip. And it all of a sudden, I was like, what the fuck is going on? But Cincinnati held on, covered the number. Then we went on a little – oh, and I'm sorry, we had Clemson too. Clemson -14. They beat the brakes off of North Carolina as expected. We were off and running. 3 straight winners. And then we had to sit there and grind out the rest of the day with 5 straight losers. So, Bama Vandy over 55.5. Diego Pavia didn't play well. Simpson had a turnover in the red zone as well. There was couple turnovers in the red zone. That was an unfortunate one. Louisville and Virginia over 61.5. Didn't deserve it, but we ended up going to overtime. Miller Moss tried his best by throwing pick sixes and just terrible turnovers. If you pressure Miller Moss, he loses his fucking mind. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. They ended up going to overtime. We needed, I think Louisville settled for a field goal when they got pretty damn close. If they would have scored a touch, we were right there. There was 57 points scored, and Louisville got a field goal to start the first overtime possession. So that was unfortunate. Virginia wins the game outright. Florida State +4.5. This is one where I don't know how many people even listen to the recap. Y'all might hit the timestamps and go straight to the picks. Either way, however you do it, it doesn't matter. When I tell you Florida State had no business covering this game, and they had the ball inside the 20-yard line with a chance to get inside the number with a touchdown with Miami playing prevent defense. I tweeted out, I said, my firstborn son will go to Florida State if they cover this game. I will send him to Florida State if I have a son, if they cover this game. They decided to kick the field goal and make it I'm assuming a one-possession game. I can't even find it on my sheet. That's how out of sorts I am at the moment. Just to see what the damn final score was. It was 28-22. That is a very misleading final score. They scored 19 points in the fourth quarter. Miami took their foot off the gas. Mario Cristobal special. Carson Beck was 20 and 27, 4 touchdowns. They completely outmatched Florida State. So it was, 28-3 going into the fourth quarter. It would have been one of the more improbable backdoor covers, and it was wide open. But Norvell wants to fucking take the points because there's 30 seconds left and try to kick the onside kick, and they didn't get it, and shove it up your ass. You should have just covered the number. We were right there. That was a good opportunity to get lucky. Couldn't get it. Minnesota +24. This fucking sucked. They got killed 42-3, a complete misread by me. Minnesota came out firing on all cylinders on the first drive, and that was the best it was the entire day. And then all they came away with was a field goal. They got stopped once they hit the red zone, but they were moving the ball. They were running. I'm like, okay, we can hang with this team. It went to shit after that. This Ohio State defense is really good, obviously, but this was tough. I felt like Minnesota had the veteran secondary, and you got Parrish back there at safety, and they're not going to get beat over the top. That's all they did. They got beat over the top all fucking day. Complete misread by me. So bad play. Cal +3, the final play of the night. My God. You got to put yourself in my shoes. I had just gotten essentially stabbed in the fucking neck. I can't move my neck. My shoulders are locked up. I'm laying on the couch. I can't even look away if I wanted to. And we just watch loser, and we cap it off with Cal, who jumps out to I think it was 14-0. Yeah, they jumped out to a 14-0 lead. JKS looked like an NFL quarterback. I'm like, oh, this is great. We'll end the night. We'll go 4-4. Needed this. They went out 14-0. They proceeded to, let's see. They proceeded to get outscored. From that point on, they scored one touchdown for the remainder of the game, so the final 3.5 quarters. They got beat 45-21. The just complete turn of the tides was unbelievable from a team that looked extremely dominant. And I mean, he's layering in throws, fitting the ball into tight windows, and then it all came crashing down, and it just went to shit. It was unbelievable. Duke had over 440 yards of offense. Cal had 286. They probably had, they had 75. They had 120 on the first 2 drives. So a brutal end to the day. Couple that we could have got lucky on, but none that we got screwed on, just bad plays. And then you're going to have that, and I understand. And we're not where we want to be with college football at the moment, but we are going to get there. So hang tight. 3-5 on the week brings me to 21-30-1, 2-4 in my locks of the week. Nick also went 2-4. Ball State plus 14.5. That was a good call. They won the game outright. He had Nevada, Fresno under 45. I think there was like 34 points scored in that game. Those were his 2 winners. Virginia Tech minus 6.5 was a loser. Buffalo minus 10 was a loser. Wyoming plus 3.5 was his lock of the week. It was a weird circumstance where there was like a hailstorm right before the game. I'm sure the picture was going viral. It was covered in ice. There was some fucked up punt situations that he was on the wrong side of, just kind of unfortunate circumstances in that one. And then he was also with me on Vandy, Alabama over 55.5. Like I said, you can't turn the ball over in the red zone that many times. Pavia just did not play well. So 2-4 on the week for Nick, 14-18-1. But he is still 4-2 in his locks of the week. He was 4-1 going into the week. He's doing very well in that category. Like I said, Nick is not here with us. He's here with us in spirit, but not in person. But I do have his plays for everybody. Bam, how did your college football week go?
I went 1-1. Had Baylor minus 6.5 versus Kansas State. They ended up coming back in this game, winning by 1 point.
That was big for me because I got him over 7.5 wins. That's looking a little dicey. I needed that bad.
And then my lock of the week was Texas Tech minus 11.5. They dismantled Houston.
They did. And so we were talking about that one. So some teams are just good. And Houston's defense is good. Texas Tech is just a really good team. They went out and paid a lot of money. And that was the talk this offseason. Oh, the transfer portal's bad and blah, 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 blah. Yeah, they went and got all the good players just like LSU did, and they're all paying off. It's all money well spent.
But, yeah, that puts me at 7-8 on the year, and then finally positive 3-2 on my locks of the week.
Yeah, so that's where one, like, if that's under 10, I'd take Texas Tech. So that's where sometimes you get caught up in the numbers, and it's hard because I've seen that scenario where Houston, and I think there was like, I know Wegman did not play well. And that's if you've listened to me when I've talked about Houston, we had them on an under, I think a week or two ago. It was 25-11 at half. Didn't they get a safety? I know that happened in the NFL. That was another one. Maybe that's what I'm thinking of. But yeah, anyway, it's sometimes you just got to pull the trigger on those because we saw the defense with Texas Tech firsthand against Utah, a Utah team that I think is still a solid team. And they shut them down. So clearly not high on Wegman. And I was on the Oregon State under maybe, and if he doesn't throw fucking pick six, it hits. But yeah, that was a good call. Texas Tech's got to be the front runner in the Big 12 right now. So we'll see how it all shakes out. But all right, we turn our attention to college football week 7. We got games Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. How many total do you have?
3 total.
3 total, so 2 in a lock. Let's see. Nick's got – I'll do all of Nick's picks concurrently at the end. Looks like he's got 5 total, 4 in a lock. All right, so my first play is going to be on Thursday. I'm going to try to get an updated number here just to make sure we're... Okay, yeah, we're still good there. All righty. We're going to go to ECU coming to New Orleans on ESPN to take on Tulane. And I'll be short and sweet with this one. We're going to take ECU +7. We've been on ECU a couple times this year. I like the team. This Tulane defense is not that good, basically, is what it boils down to. They gave up a lot of yards to some quality teams. They didn't play bad teams. But, I mean, you look at South Alabama, not the best team. They got over 400 yards of offense. They gave up over 450 yards of offense to Duke, 550 yards to Ole Miss. For ECU, it's going to come down to can they execute in the red zone, because they have not been able to so far this year. It's been a very tough go once they get into the red area. They're going to be able to move the ball on this Tulane defense. They're going to be able to get in position to score. Can they execute when they get down there? I'm going to trust Hauser at 7 points. You're going to give me a touchdown on a team that I think will have success moving the ball and will be able to put some points up on the board. I've faded Retzlaff a couple times. I don't believe in Retzlaff as a pocket passer. So if you can keep him in the pocket and don't let him run all over you, put him in obvious passing down situations, I think ECU is going to hang into this game. I could be crazy enough to say that I think they could be live to win this game outright. We'll see how it goes. But I will take ECU +7 as my first play. Do you have anything for Friday?
Nope.
Okay. We'll go to Saturday then. Let's see. Are you on the Red River Shootout? Oklahoma, Texas?
I am not.
Okay.
But can be convinced.
Alrighty. Well, I am on it. I bet it every single year. So it's one of those non-negotiables. It's one of the best rivalries in college football. Where were you when we were live streaming for the Red River Shootout, when Kennedy Brooks, when Caleb Williams, first off, comes in from the rafters? They had to bench Spencer Rattler. Caleb Williams comes in, brings us back down from 3 scores, and then Kennedy Brooks, if I remember correctly, yeah, it had to be that game. Kennedy Brooks
play before.
Yeah. Yes. Exactly. Yeah, they did. I think it was a direct snap to the running back, and then he fakes a pitch and then keeps it, and they had success with it, and they ran it again, and it was the last play where they could, if he gets tackled, they kick a field goal for the win. If they score a touchdown, they cover the number. Field goal doesn't cover the number. House call. Kennedy Brooks scores it in all-time cover. We were streaming to probably 3 fucking people, but that was a moment I'll never forget. So, yeah, Oklahoma, Texas, at the Cotton Bowl in Dallas. Will John Mateer play? That is the question. I don't know. There's rumors circulating of somebody in a Chipotle line that ran into him, and he was talking to an employee saying he's going to play, and he just had surgery on his thumb. I'll be surprised if he plays. But if he does, he's not going to be 100%. The biggest question for Texas is what's going on with Arch Manning? And that's every week where we're just you almost don't want to believe it because there was so much hype. He was overhyped more than any player I can remember. And then you get out there and you realize he's just a guy. He's not anything special. He's not an elite quarterback at the moment. Maybe he will be. Maybe he'll turn into it. Right now, he's not. And that's what happens when you get built playing people at Newman. That's who he was practicing against.
Did you see the Johnny Manziel was on the podcast talking about that?
No, what did he say?
He was basically like, this is the first time he's seeing real competition. He was playing, he wasn't playing 6'5" football. My grandma could have rolled out the pocket and a completed pass.
No, I think I could have had success. Like, I think I could have moved the chains out there, and I didn't play football. So I think you put me under center at Newman, I'm picking up. We might put some points up on the board. He's shown you flashes. He had a deep ball against Florida where it's like, okay, that a special throw, a seriously good throw. And then he shows you the double coverage interceptions and the overthrowing open wide receivers for picks. There's been more bad than good, but there's been a little glimmer of good in there. Sarkisian's an overrated play caller, in my opinion. I think he's a very good play caller. He gets kind of anointed as like the number one guy. No, I don't think so. With that being said, though, I think Texas has the best defense on the field. Oklahoma's is very good. I think Texas is very good. I think it's better than Oklahoma's. I think they had a tough day in the swamp going to Florida. That's the Billy Napier revenge game. Okay, that's the hot seat Billy Napier, not revenge, but yeah, hot seat Billy Napier trying to save his job. You don't want to get in front of that freight train. Okay, tough spot for Texas. Me and Nick, I think it was 6.5. We had said if it was a 7, we were going to jump on Florida. I could be wrong on that, but we didn't pull the trigger, but we were very nearly on Florida. It was a bad day from the Texas defense because Lagway has struggled this year, and he looked like the Heisman Trophy contender that everybody thought he was going to be coming into the season. So, with that being said, I'm going to take my chances with the Longhorns. Like I said, I think they're the better defense. Even if they have a less than 100% John Mateer, great. If John Mateer doesn't play and you got to go with Michael Hawkins Jr., I love it because he's not good. He's just not. So, I'm going to take Texas minus 1.5 in the Red River Shootout. If there was ever an opportunity for Arch Manning to kind of exercise the demons, and we keep hearing the stories. First, we saw him stand over the Sam Houston State player. Then you hear the stories about in practice where he's telling his DBs, I'm back because he made a fucking throw. Like, where'd you go? Or what do you mean you're back? You had to be here and then leave to come back. You've never been here. So this is the perfect opportunity for him to kind of settle into somewhat of the role in the I'm getting at it where maybe this is a good opportunity for him to not fucking suck. And you don't even need to be Superman because you have a really good defense. Just go out there and don't fucking throw it to the other team. And I think Texas will be okay here. Could be walking into a trap. Venables could scheme it up and make Arch Manning look like he played quarterback at Newman for 4 years. But we're going to find out. I'm taking the Longhorns minus 1.5. What is your first one for Saturday?
Going to Alabama, Mizzou.
Nick is on this as well. I'll let you know what his play is after.
I'm just going to tell y'all what it is. I'm taking the under 51.5.
Okay. You might be able to get a better number than that. Let's see. Alabama, Mizzou. No. Well, no. Yeah, you go 51.5. Yeah. Well, wait.
I can get 52.
Yeah. No, 52. Okay. Under 52. So I'll just say Nick's on this as well. Nick is going to go with, it looks like, he's going to lay 3 points with Alabama. He didn't give me any reasoning why. It is Alabama. They beat a good Vanderbilt team. I was impressed with Vanderbilt for what that's worth. I felt like they had a chance. Pavia's got to protect the ball. But Missouri, the big story in this one, has arguably the best running back in the country with Hardy. So Ahmad Hardy's got 730 yards, averaging 7 yards a carry, 9 touchdowns. So that's going to be a good game. That's one to definitely keep an eye on. Drinkwitz has got Missouri competitive again. So, all right, my next one for Saturday. Let's see. We're going to go to, bear with me, 6 p.m. kick. The Florida Gators we just talked about going on the road to College Station to take on Texas A&M. The number 5 ranked Texas A&M Aggies. Marcel Reed has taken a big step from last season, in my opinion. 11 touchdowns, 3 picks. They've got weapons over there with Moss and Craver, and I don't care. We're going to take Florida plus 7.5 because this is hot seat Billy Napier. DJ Lagway looked really good against the defense that I think is one of the top defenses in the country. Rumor circulating is maybe he got healthy in the bye week and he had been dealing with something, and we heard the talk about the shoulder. Was there a shoulder procedure coming into the year, and he was dealing with a couple other things? He played a good game against Texas. And like I said, maybe I'm feeling like because I wished we would have got on Florida going into that Texas game, like we nearly pulled the trigger on it. So maybe I'm feeling like, okay, we're gonna hop on the boat now. But we've talked about this Florida defense at length throughout this season. This is a serious – they have a lot of talent in the trenches. Lagway against Texas was 21 of 28, 290 – can't read my handwriting, maybe 93, maybe 97 yards, nearly 300 yards passing. He also had his highest average depth of target of the year at 9.5 yards. For reference, it was 3.7 against Miami. So he was pushing the ball down the field, and he was having success doing it. At 7 and a hook, I'm going to roll with the Gators. Like I said, the defense has got a lot of talent, especially on the line. If they can contain the run, keep Owens keep Moss contained. Don't let him run all over you. They got a couple guys that are quality backs. Don't let them run all over you. Keep Reed in the pocket. Force him to be a pocket passer. I think that they can have enough success to keep this game close. Totals at 46.5, shaded to the under. Not expecting a high-scoring affair. You got quality defenses on both sides. I think Florida can keep it close enough. And this one, outside of a touchdown, I'm going to take the Gators plus 7.5. You have one more and then your lock?
Yep.
Go with your one more.
I am going TCU at Kansas State. I'm going to take the over, 55.5.
I like it. Yeah. I'm a fan of TCU. TCU is a little head-scratching with the games that they've dropped recently, but I still think Hoover's a really good quarterback, and I think Kansas State's defense is really bad. So I don't disagree with it at all. All right, let's see. We're going to go to Michigan, going on the road to take on USC, going out west. USC had been rolling to start the year, but lost last week to Illinois. We told you that was a clear-cut bounce-back spot for Illinois, who just got obliterated by Indiana by 70. That was a bounce-back spot written. That was written on the wall right there for Illinois. So they did get the outright win against USC, who put up a good fight on the road. Michigan has to head out west to take on a Trojan offense grading out top 10 in the country. The Mayava to Lemon connection is the real deal. I trust Lincoln Riley to be able to put points up on the board in this one. I'm not sure Underwood is going to be able to go toe-to-toe just yet. USC is number 3 in the nation in third down conversion percentage. They're very efficient at moving the chains. Michigan, on the other hand, is 50th. So not terrible, but you can put Underwood in that third and medium range, and I don't trust him to continuously move the chains. So emphasize stopping the run. Easier said than done. They got a lot of good quality backs there with Haynes and so on and so forth. But same thing like with Marcel Reed. If you can put Underwood in obvious passing situations, I don't think he's there yet to have the success. Whereas I feel like USC, who I trust Lincoln Riley to scheme up the offense to be able to put points up on the board. And then another one for me is the fact that USC has the number 2 ranked red zone defense in America, where Michigan has the 71st ranked red zone offense. So when you get down there to the red zone, you got to be able to put up touchdowns. Field goals aren't going to get it done, especially in a game like this. So I'm going to lay the 2.5 with USC. I think Lincoln Riley's got a very interesting stretch when you look at their games. So you can't drop both of these. And you've got, I just had it, let's see. You've got USC, and then you turn right around and you got the rivalry game with Notre Dame. So this is not a look-ahead spot because this is a ranked Michigan at home. You can't afford to lose it after you just lost to Illinois. So I think we see a sharp USC team here. And like I said, I'm not there with Underwood yet to feel like, one, the game plan for Michigan, although it is opening up a little bit, they're not super aggressive, and I don't trust Underwood to be able to get it done to go toe-to-toe with this high-caliber offense just yet. So I will take USC minus 2.5. Next one. God, we're gonna do it. Maybe we shouldn't. Maybe we're naive and we're just hoping here, but we're gonna lay 8.5 points with LSU at home, taking on South Carolina. I am going to put my faith in the fact that you're coming off of a bye week with glaringly obvious issues. And I'm going to hope that Brian Kelly, who put his money where his mouth was and got all of this money to go out and get all of these good players and had to sit idly by as Matt House coached the worst defense and you wasted a national championship offense a couple years back, I'm going to put my faith that Brian Kelly is going to be willing to, whether it be kick Sloan out on his ass, which he's obviously not going to do, but take, or if it's take some of the play calling duties away from him or just put your influence on it a little bit more, whatever it may be. I'm going to trust that LSU makes the necessary adjustments. A team that is loaded with talent. You paid good money for it. We saw it in the beginning of the year. And then I'm also going to think or hope that we see a little bit of what I'm expecting or assuming we saw with Lagway. Bye week, got a chance to rest up and get a little healthier. Maybe Nussmeier needed that. And you're going to get Caden Durham back, and you're going to get a lot of people back. They're putting Kern at guard, which I think he's going to do very well in. And you needed to shake something up on the offensive line. I think he's a road grader, and you're going to be able to run the ball behind him. Commit to it. Try to do it. South Carolina, I just don't think this is a very good South Carolina team. I think we have the guys to hang with Lenora Sellers, who is a dynamic athlete, but we got plenty of them as well. So don't just sit back and let Chambliss run all over you with Ole Miss. Don't let Lenora Sellers do the same thing. Go fucking get him. We got the athletes to do it. I think we will do it. You're coming in to a situation in Death Valley where we've already got a loss under our belt. The season's not over. It is right there. Everything you want is right in front of you. I think we're going to see the sharpest LSU team that we've seen this year, and I think that they're going to beat the shit out of South Carolina. Maybe I'm a fool. Maybe it's wishful thinking. Maybe I wasted my money betting on LSU 20-1 to win the national championship because you could get a better odds today. But I'm still a believer, and I think we're going to come out and handle business. LSU minus 8.5. I have one more and then my lock, and then I'll do my one more, then I'll give you Nick's picks, and then we'll do the locks. Arizona and BYU. 7 p.m. kick. Arizona's at home, getting 2.5 against BYU. We just faded BYU last week against West Virginia, like we talked about in the recap. Backdoored West Virginia with a beautiful touchdown pass from the fourth-string quarterback. We're going to fade BYU again here. And I said it last week. I'll say it again. We've got BYU under 7.5 wins for more than we should because we thought we were smart. Retzlaff got kicked out, got fucking ran out of town. They had a plus money 7.5 still sitting up there when everywhere else it was 6.5, shaded to the under. All of a sudden, we need BYU to lose a motherfucking game. So Arizona's getting 2.5 points on the home field. The thing here is I really don't think Bachmeier's that great. I'm not blown away with what he does on the offense. He's a tough player and a gritty player. Hank Bachmeier was the same way. I don't trust that. I think Arizona is going to be able to put points up on the board here. Fafita's playing very well. It's a solid enough Arizona defense with the home field behind you. I don't think Bachmeier's good enough to go put a consistent amount of points up on the board. We saw it against Colorado where they had to make a comeback. They were down 14 points. They won the game 24-21. They had 10 points going into halftime. This Colorado team is not good. Poor Dion can't feel his fucking foot. He's got one shoe on throughout the entire game. I'm taking Arizona getting the points on the home field, plus 2.5. I'm just not a believer in this BYU team. Not there. Maybe I'm wrong. We'll find out. I haven't been right yet, but we were right last week. But overall, it's not been the season we've been looking for so far in college. But, yeah, Arizona plus 2.5. So Nick is going with, like I had already mentioned, he's on Alabama minus 3. He's on Eastern Michigan plus 1.5, taking on Northern Illinois. He's on NC State plus 22.5 on the road against Notre Dame. And then he is also actually on USC minus 2.5. I'm just realizing that with me. So we have an agreement there, USC minus 2.5 against Michigan. And then all we have left is our locks of the week, correct?
Yep.
All righty. No such thing as a lock, but if there was...
It's a lock, Kramer. You've had this thing under control for almost 3 years now. But it's a lock.
They need that fucking juice. They need that next bet. They need... Come on. Yes! When they win, they go fucking crazy.
You're a bad motherfucker. Go in that shower, grab your fucking nuts, and tell the world somebody's sniffing my fucking nutsack today. Because I ain't got time to fuck around no more.
All right, for my lock of the week, we're going to a Friday night game. Rutgers going on the road to take on Washington. Betting overs has not treated us well so far in the last couple weeks, but we're going to do another one here. This Washington offense is dynamic. It didn't look it against Ohio State, but they have talent. You've got Damon Williams, you've got Jonah Coleman, you've got Denzel Boston. They have NFL talent on the offensive side of the ball. Rutgers can't really run the ball, which is going to play into what we're looking for here because Callie McManus is playing well, not so much since they hit conference play, but he has weapons on the outside as well, and they're pushing the ball down the field in a big way. I'm not a believer in this Washington secondary. The thing here, so we saw Washington play Ohio State, and they got shut down. We just saw Minnesota play Ohio State, and they got shut down. 3 total points all day. Drake Lindsey, quarterback from Minnesota, when he played Rutgers, he threw for 324 yards and 3 touchdowns. This Rutgers defense is very bad, uncharacteristically bad for a Greg Schiano defense. So we are going to go over 59 for Rutgers and Washington. It's a tough place for Rutgers to go play. This Washington offense is the real deal. It hasn't looked it in the previous weeks, but this is just what the doctor ordered with a really bad Rutgers defense and a Rutgers offense that has weapons on the outside and a willingness to push the ball down the field. It's a 10.5-point spread. I nearly laid it, if I'm being honest with you. But if Rutgers is down, they're going to need to throw the ball anyway. So I think we're going to see points in this one. So I'm going over 59, and Rutgers and Washington is my lock of the week. What is your lock of the week?
So going to Ohio State at Illinois. I'm taking the points here with Illinois at home, plus 14.5. Ohio State, other than Texas, they really haven't played anybody, ranked. And I think this is just a good spot, good number. I like it.
Okay. Yeah, I like Illinois. If you listen to us last year, I liked Altmaier last year. I think he's a good quarterback. I think he does a good job of protecting the ball. They got fucking run out of the building by Indiana, but then bounced back with a quality win against a good USC team, and then went on the road against, Purdue's still not good, but Purdue's scrappy. This is not the Purdue of old. This is one to pay attention to for sure. I think Illinois has guys on the defensive side. Gabe Yakus and a couple other people on that D-line can get after the quarterback. It's just going to be, will Illinois be able to put points up on the board? But yeah, I don't disagree with it. So I like Altmaier a lot. So it's just bad taste in your mouth with that Indiana game, but I feel like they responded well. So Nick's lock of the week is Colorado State at home taking on Fresno State. He's going Colorado State plus 6.5 is his lock. And I don't have any reason in why. He just gave me the plays. So take it for what it's worth. He's done very well in his locks of the week, 4-2. You're positive in your locks. So that is our best bets for college football. To recap, I am going ECU plus 7, Texas and the Red River Shootout minus 1.5, Florida plus 7.5, USC minus 2.5, LSU minus 8.5, Arizona plus 2.5, and my lock of the week is Rutgers and Washington over 59. Nick's plays, to recap, are Alabama minus 3, Eastern Michigan plus 1.5, NC State plus 22.5, USC minus 2.5. We have an agreement there, and his lock of the week is Colorado State plus 6.5.
My locks,
Recap.
Yeah, my recap is TCU, Kansas State, over 55.5. Alabama, Mizzou, under 51.5. And my lock of the week is Illinois, plus 14.5 against Ohio State at home.
All righty, there you go. Now we will recap last week in the NFL and then give you our best bets. Like I said, that's where we're making our money this year so far. Long season to go. We're going to get it turned around. We're going to right the ship in college football. We did it last year, if you remember. Went on a generational run in the season there in bowl season. But we would like to get on the right side of the number here before we hit bowl season, because it is, in all seriousness, a little bit of a crapshoot. So our Thursday streak came to an end. What are we, 5 weeks in? So I'm now 4-1 betting the Thursday night game. We had under 46.5 in the 49ers and Rams. And when I tell you, I thought we got a gift from the heavens when Kyron Williams got the ball punched out on the 1-yard line to stay under the number. The problem here was that Shanahan was too scared. He ran the ball 3 times in a row and gave it back to the Rams. How you don't throw the ball there to put the game away is beyond me. I don't. It was we see it time and time again. We saw it with Harbaugh against the Bills. You're giving it back to elite offenses when all they have to go do is get a field goal. It's going to happen. So fucking throw the ball, try to convert the first down. You just went on a 99 or 98-yard drive the drive before. But now you're going to run it 3 times right up the gut and give them the ball right back. So if they pick up 1 first down, the under hits. So that was unfortunate. The story here was obviously the 49ers won the game. Mac Jones came out and had an unrealistic amount of success against a good a good Rams defense. It was a good call by you with the plus 3.5 in the first half, but full number would have been a good play as well because they won the game outright. But this was one where I think the Rams were minus 3.5, and then it jumped all the way out to maybe 7.5, and I don't remember where it closed at because it might even closed 8.5. Yeah, I think it was 8.5. A ton of money came in on the Rams for obvious reasons. The 49ers dealing with a ton of injuries, but this is kind of what we talked to you about, where it's like these games are close.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what we didn't want to lay that many points with the Rams. The NFL game, there's talent all over the field. Mac Jones was a first-round quarterback. He was a first-round pick a couple years back. You still got McCaffrey over there, so nobody was fucking expecting them to win this game. And to be quite honest with you, Kyron Williams is going in there to score a touchdown. He's 1 yard away, gets it punched out. That was the difference. I truly did think we were getting a gift from the heavens. I was like, I can't fucking lose on Thursday even if I tried. But wasn't meant to be, wasn't in the cards. I can live with it. I had the Patriots plus 7.5. I mentioned it earlier on Sunday night. They won the game outright. Drake May is good. We've been telling you. This guy is fucking good. He's going to be a good quarterback for a while. Certain quarterbacks just have the it factor. He's got it. He stays poised in the pocket. I think Collinsworth did make a good point. Like when the pressure comes, he doesn't extend plays and keep his eyes downfield. Typically, I don't care for anything Collinsworth has to say, but I did agree with that there. That's the one kind of bit of critique. But his ability to extend plays outside of the pocket and all of that, when he's stepping up in the pocket, if he could keep his eyes down the field, he had Diggs down the left sideline on one. I think it was Diggs. But his mobility, whenever he's evading pressure, you saw that throw down the right sideline to Diggs, I think it was. That was an unbelievable throw, and you got a fantastic camera angle from it as well. But this guy is the real deal. All the arm talent in the world. You add in the mobility and just the ability to stay poised under pressure. It's clear as day. Like sometimes it hits you like a ton of bricks. Like Patriots found a guy. I wish the Saints could do the same, although Rattler is showing promise. But there's no question about it. Drake May is going to be a very good quarterback in this league for a long time. That was a huge win for the Patriots. They're a good team, especially on that D-line. Nick introduced me to the greatness of Milton Williams coming into this year. That was a huge get. That dude's a problem on the D-line. Jaguars plus 3.5 on Monday night. They win the game outright as well. Trevor Lawrence is the dumbest fucking quarterback I've ever seen. Trevor Lawrence is unbelievably dumb where he'll throw the ball 2 yards past the line of scrimmage. He takes delay of games. He takes one delay a game every quarter.
The delay of game at the end of the game was insane.
It's like, what are you doing? He's like up there. Everybody's set and ready. It's like he was trying to get him to jump or something. I don't know. And you have to legitimately take this into account when you're handicapping games because Trevor Lawrence is dumb, dude. He is dumb. The week before I was on the Jaguars, they went on the road to San Francisco and they won the game outright. 3.5-point underdogs. Going into halftime, there was 10 seconds left. They had no timeouts. Clock stopped. They're trying to run one more play to see if they can score a touchdown. So you either go to the end zone or you throw it out the back of the end zone. This moron checks it down to the running back. They have no timeouts. He knew he fucked up right away. He runs over and he's like yanking the ball out of the running back's hand so they can go spot it. Luckily, they spike it with a second left. But it's shit like that where he's just not bright. And that was the most Trevor Lawrence touchdown of all time to win the game, where I saw a bunch of people trying to say, oh, he trips over. He clearly gets stepped on I'm assuming it was the right guard. Clearly gets stepped on, but he falls down, tries to get up, falls down again, somehow gets up. Tip your cap to the fucking offensive line because the quarterback fell down and then was running like a baby deer. And he was untouched. The offensive line, yeah, Chris Jones took the play off or maybe pulled a hamstring or something, but I was impressed with the Jaguars' offensive line. It was an electric win. But you gotta be concerned about Trevor Lawrence. He is just dumb. That's the best way I can put it. He is not bright. Seahawks minus 3.5 was the lock of the week. God, Sam Darnold played an incredible game. And it's a shame that he ended the game with an interception. It skimmed off the D lineman's helmet, which resulted in the pick. Baker Mayfield played an incredible game as well, though. And they went toe-to-toe, back and forth. I think you were on the over in this one. That was a great call. I was shocked with how poorly the Seattle secondary played. I understand you got a lot of injuries back there with Witherspoon and Love, and Tariq Woolen got a concussion, and he came out. They had the Buccaneers to 3rd and 12, what felt like every drive, and then Baker's hitting them over the top to Egbuka. I was pulling my hair out because the Seahawks kept answering back. The problem was they had to answer back. They couldn't break serve. But Baker Mayfield, it's every fucking game where it's time to go win the game, and he's going to do it. You got to tip your cap to him. Buccaneers are a division. They're not even a rival. We don't care about the fucking Bucs, but they're in the division, though. You got to just, you got a game. You got to respect it. So he's a very good player. He just is. And he's in the running for MVP, whether you like it or not. But so Seahawks minus 3.5, that, if you would have told me I would have got that performance from the offense, I'd have bet the fucking house on it because this Seattle defense is good. They just did not play good. Saints minus 2. We broke through with our first win of the year. Kellen Moore, Spencer Rattler both get their first win. This was a great spot for the Saints. We knew it was. Like I said, we made it a contest play. So that was fun. Good defensive performance. Kool-Aid McKinstry shut me up. He can't guard anybody, but when fucking Jackson Dart's throwing him up for grabs, he went and got him. Might be a little fool's gold there because I've seen Kool-Aid try to I literally don't think he could guard me. I don't think he could guard me. If I line up in the slot, I'm hitting him with I'm getting separation. Raiders plus 7 was the final play. I jumped on it with Nick. I wish I didn't. I can't put it all on him because I agreed with it. We keep trying to fade the Colts. The Raiders fucking suck. Geno Smith really sucks, but that defense for the Raiders is so bad. And the Colts are just a good team. It's time to wake up and acknowledge it. The Colts are good. Whether we want to believe it or not, they're a solid team. So I go 3-3, and I'm going to be honest. I was worried about this week going in. Nothing. There wasn't a ton that jumped off the page or that you felt great about. But we survived it. So it's 3-3 is not what we want, but we have not had a losing week in the NFL this year. If we can get, knock on wood, we'll try to avoid. If we can have 0 losing weeks, it's going to be a fucking great year, obviously. But given the circumstances, given the tough results, and then a terrible play with the Raiders, I'll take 3-3. 19-12 on the year, 3-2 in my locks of the week. Nick had 4 plays. He was on the under as well on the Thursday night game. He was on the Raiders. He was on the Saints. The Raiders were his lock. Titans plus 7.5. This was not looking good. And then all of a sudden, somehow the Titans from the depths of hell come back and win this game outright. One of the more improbable wins you'll ever see. Nick goes 2-2, 13-7 overall, 3-2 in his locks of the week. You had 5 plays?
I had 5 plays, went 3-2, should have been 4-1. But started off Thursday, had the first half, 49ers plus 3.5. Jumped out to an early 14-0 lead. That was a wrap. Then I had Bucks, Seahawks over 44.5. It was a shootout, easy hit. And then I had the Saints, Giants over 40.5. It hits on 40 because of Blake Grupe cannot hit a field goal. It's every game.
Yeah, you got to get Blake Grupe the fuck off this team. Blake Grupe's got to go because it literally is every single game. If Blake Grupe's lining up, long story short, get Blake Grupe the fuck out of town. There's no way he's our best option to kick field goals, and he's not reliable. Our special teams unit's the worst in the league, and he's playing a large part in that. Look, he's too early in his career to have the shanks. So if you got him this early, that just means you're not good. It's funny. You see the progression of these kickers where Justin Tucker, before he got accused of all the sexual misconduct, he was the best kicker of all time. And then you get You're like, oh, shit, he shanked one. And then you come back a couple weeks later, he shanks another. All of a sudden, they get a case of the shanks, and they can't get rid of it. You're seeing it with Butker. He's having a bad year. You get used to these kickers that never miss, and then all of a sudden, it's like, what the fuck happened? I think Father Time catches up to the elite kickers, and then they lose it. Groupie's like 12. If you're shanking shit at 12, you don't got it. So he doesn't even have it to lose it. That just means he doesn't have it. We got to find somebody else to kick. He's not a good kicker.
Yeah, so him missing those 2 field goals put me with a loss in that game. And then I had Miami -1.5 against the Panthers. You already touched up on that a little bit.
Yep.
Mike McDaniel sucks. And then my lock of the week was Detroit -10 versus the Bengals. Got a little close there at the end, but they pulled it out.
So what's your overall?
Puts me at 12-7 overall, 3-2 on my locks of the week. Just for what it's worth, 4-1 on Thursday Night Football.
Yeah, that's good. I'm also 4-1. Nick is 3-2, I believe. Which is what we'll turn our attention to. NFL Week 6. Hit the like and subscribe button if you don't mind. Thursday night, Eagles going on the road to take on the Giants. Philly's laying 7. The total's around 40.5, give or take. We always bet the Thursday game no matter what. This is a bit of a funky one. An NFC East divisional matchup, a struggling Eagles team with locker room issues. You got A.J. Brown crying on Twitter. The receivers are apparently wearing vibrant colored cleats so Jalen Hurts can see him and throw him the ball. Jalen Hurts is launching Hail Marys and trying to run down there and catch it. It's a lot of dysfunction and turmoil, what it feels like in the Eagles locker room. But if you remember last year, it was very similar. Remember the Saquon Barkley throw and the flat that he dropped when they went for it, and the Eagles were not looking good, and then all of a sudden they looked incredible and didn't lose. So the Giants on the other side, you've got Jackson Dart making, his 3rd start now. In his first start, he knocked off the Chargers, and that was a great feel-good story. Like, wow, the Chargers look like the best team in football. This kid knocks them off. Then you go play the Saints, who don't have a good defense, and you throw 2 interceptions, 4 turnover-worthy plays. He fumbled the ball because he held it like a loaf of bread. So it's like, what do you really make of Jackson Dart? He had the hype around him. You're in New York, and he's running for touchdowns, and he dances, and yada, yada. It's a short turnaround from Sunday. Injury info to monitor, obviously, is Saquon's nursing a knee issue. He intends to play. The big name here is Landon Dickerson. That's the biggest one to watch for the Eagles. He's not going to go. He's not officially out, but I would be shocked if he plays. Brett Toth is his replacement, and it's a pretty significant downgrade. He gave up a sack when he came in replacement for Dickerson. He gave up multiple pressures. I think he led the team in pressures given up. So he's at the left guard position. That's worrisome. Any of those interior linemen lining up against Dexter Lawrence, who's probably the best D tackle in the league. If the Giants can do anything on the defensive side of the ball, it's rush the passer, and they do it very well. So that's going to be the matchup there. Philly's offensive line versus New York's defensive line. Me and Nick talked about this, and we're in agreement. We are going to lay 7 points with the Eagles. He didn't give me his reasoning why, but I'm going to give you my reasoning why. Obviously, there's a scenario here where the Eagles have clear problems on the offensive side of the ball, and there's a lot of disgruntled wide receivers, and Saquon's averaging 3 yards a carry, not having success. So there could be a scenario here where they're still having offensive worries or struggles, and you saw the Broncos go heavy zone. Hurts was having success in the first half against man, and then they go heavy zone, and all of a sudden Jalen Hurts is really struggling. We were on the Broncos. That was our other contest play that I couldn't remember. We took the Broncos. They made a big comeback and won the game outright. So if we see those offensive struggles and the D-line starts to eat with Abdul Carter and Brian Burns and Dexter Lawrence, and all it takes is a strip sack fumble, and all of a sudden it's like, fuck, we're in trouble. I'm going to trust the veteran guys on the offensive line. You still got Mailata, and you have all these other guys that can pick up the absence of Dickerson. At least I'm going to hope, and you can throw some help his way. The Giants really struggle to stop the run. They also really struggle to cover the pass. The secondary's not good. You got Paulson and Debo back there. Hit Paulson with a double move and see you later. If there was ever an opportunity for the Eagles wide receivers to have a get-right game and get on track and Jalen Hurts can start getting them the football, it's now. I just don't trust. It's a very low number. You're sitting right at around 40 points. I don't trust this Giants defense, this Giants offense to score enough. I do trust that Philly will eventually be able to get into the end zone. I think they're going to be able to have a balanced attack. The Giants also run man coverage more than almost everybody in the league. I think they're second in the league in man coverage. We saw Jalen Hurts have a lot of success against man. There's also going to be plenty of opportunities to run when the DBs have their backs to you playing man coverage. We'll see if they switch that up and if they go a little bit more zone because Jalen Hurts clearly is struggling against it. But I can't trust this Giants offense. You lose Neighbors. You also had Slayton go down with a hamstring injury. We got a front row look at that as Saints fans. So you have what? Wan'Dale Robinson, and then who else? I think Scadaboo's the leading receiver after Wan'Dale Robinson when you take Neighbors and Slayton out of the equation. You have a ton of really good linebackers over there for the Eagles. They hit on Jahad Campbell in the draft. Surprise. Obviously, Zach Bond's one of the best linebackers in the league. Didn't have a great game last week, but they have plenty of guys that can – I don't see the path to success for this Giants offense. I really don't, and that's why clearly the number's low. They're putting stock in the Giants' ability to rush the passer and the Eagles' offensive struggles. Sometimes you do have to just go with what you've seen, and you kind of wait. You kind of expect, like, okay, they're going to get back on track. The Eagles have been so dominant for so long, and they're still 4-1. Am I going to be blown away if they have offensive struggles and the Giants get after the quarterback? No, I'm not. But I do think there will be opportunities for Hurts to extend the drives with his legs. And like I said, that man coverage, we'll see if they switch it up and go zone. But I don't like the secondary that the Giants have out there. The weakness for this Eagles defense is that second cornerback spot. Quinyon Mitchell's good. He's had some tough games this season, but he's a number one corner. Opposite of him, whether it's Keely Ringo or if it's Adoree Jackson, that's who you want to attack. I don't think the Giants have the guys to do it because Neighbors is hurt. If Slayton's not going to go, I'm assuming he's not. A hamstring injury, he had to come out of the game against the Saints and didn't go back in. Now you have a short turnaround on Thursday. I'm assuming that he's not going to go. They just don't have the guys. And I don't think Jackson Dart's very good. So I understand it's a fun story and all of that. I wasn't impressed. That Saints defense is not good, and he didn't look good against them. He moved the ball, but when it came down to score it in the red zone, they didn't have the success that they needed. This Vic Fangio defense with the Eagles is much better than the Saints defense that you saw. So I think anything's going to be hard to come by for Jackson Dart. So you've got the Eagles coming off of a loss, a game that they had a double-digit lead in. I think we see the Eagles come out and assert themselves. So Nick and I are both going to lay 7 points with the Philadelphia Eagles on Thursday. Try to get back on track. Like I said, 4-1 betting the Thursday game. Coming off a loss, though, we're going to see if we can get back on track. Eagles -7. What is your – I know that was a long-winded explanation, but that's the thought process going in. What is your Thursday play?
Yeah, I'm also on the Eagles -7.
Okay. There you have it. We have a consensus. We got to get back in the win column on Thursday. I just can't get there with the Giants. I don't. Who the fuck is going to score? Who's going to score? So we will move on to Sunday. Let me see how many total Nick has. So Nick has 2 more and then a lock. How many total do you have?
1 more than a lock.
Okay. I'm going to go to... Let me just get it out there. We'll get it out there and get it over with, all right? Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Fool me 3 times, and then I'll learn my lesson. And this is the 3rd time, so we'll see if we get fooled again. We're going to go Cardinals +6.5 on the road taking on the Colts. Remember week 1? We took the Dolphins on the road against the Colts. They got beat by 100. Remember last week? We took the Raiders against the Colts. They got beat by 100. Here we go again with another dog shit team going on the road, getting points. The Cardinals are the most head-scratching team in the league because they have talent. They have a solid enough defense. They really do. I think they'll be able to bottle up the run. Maybe not bottle it up, but I think they'll be able to contain the run. Daniel Jones has clearly played well, but he has left some to be desired in spots. I know it's hard to say they're 4-1 and they've beat multiple teams. They beat up on the bad teams. This is not a great team. But this isn't a terrible team. They have weapons on the offensive side of the ball. Kyler Murray getting points, that's the spot you want to back him, because if he's laying them, he ain't going to cover it. This is our last-ditch effort to get one over on the Colts. And then maybe we'll have to just be believers after this. So I'm going to take the Cardinals plus 6.5. They just had one of the worst losses, and I understand Kyler's questionable. I'm expecting him to play. If he doesn't play and Brissett's in, then we're fucking dead, okay? It is what it is. I'm expecting Kyler Murray to play. Stop the run. Calais Campbell, old as dirt, but still on that D-line and productive enough. I think the Cardinals can hang inside this number, but we faded the Colts a couple times this year. We've been wrong every time. We're going to try it again. So Cardinals plus 6.5 is my first play for Sunday. What's your first one?
Kind of torn between which one's going to be my lock, but
so you love them both.
All right, I'm going to go to the Patriots at the Saints.
Okay.
Looking at a total here, I'm going to take the under 45.5.
Okay.
Just think the Saints defense is playing pretty well lately. I know it was against Jackson Dart, but also that the Patriots, I feel like they can stop our offense a little bit more than usual. Sorry, it's a terrible explanation, but
yeah, I mean, I'm reading something. So, but yeah, so you're taking
I'm taking the under.
The under. Okay.
45.5.
Okay. I think the Patriots defense is good. I'm going to be honest with you. I nearly laid it with the Patriots here. But I'm gonna stay away because the Saints team they fight, and you got the Patriots coming off the Sunday night win, big win against Buffalo. Yeah, we'll see how that one shakes out. All right, let's see. Next one, I am going to go to Seattle going on the road to take on Jacksonville. Two teams that I've been high on this year. We've been on Jacksonville nearly every week. Same thing with Seattle. Now you got them colliding. So it's tough. I nearly stayed away, but I just can't. I think this is a good spot for the Seahawks. I think Sam Darnold is playing extremely well. I think Trevor Lawrence is certifiably dumb. And I think that's a problem. It's a serious issue. He takes delay of games. He throws the ball past the line of scrimmage, significantly past the line of scrimmage, like fucking 3 yards. We don't need to go back down that road. But offensively, too, it's just Brian Thomas, I don't know really what's going on. It hasn't started clicking for him in this offense yet. I know he made a big play down the right sideline to help them get the win over the Chiefs. A lot of the success, though, came from Trevor Lawrence running, using his legs. I don't think you're going to be able to do that against this Seattle team. Seattle did a very good job of getting Tampa Bay into third and long situations, and then Baker Mayfield just kept making plays, and he made plays that I don't think Trevor Lawrence is going to be able to make. The balance of the Seattle offense is – that's why we're backing him. Sam Darnold's playing very good. He's excelling in Kubiak's offense, but then you've got the running backs with Walker and Charbonnet. Smith and Jigba is clearly a number one wide receiver in this league. They have a lot of weapons on that offensive side of the ball, but they're just extremely efficient. And the worry here is Jacksonville's defense is really good, but they've been on the favorable side of a lot of turnover luck because there's a ton of luck going into these turnovers. Devin Lloyd getting an interception, taking it for a house call, that's not so much luck. But a lot of these fumbles, they've been on the right side of that. That's not always sustainable. I think this Seattle defense is better than what we saw against Tampa Bay. And like I said, I really just think Baker Mayfield was just making plays that Trevor Lawrence is not going to be able to make. So if you're going to give me 1.5 points with what I think is the better team, not by much. I really like the Jaguars. Don't get me wrong. But Sam Darnold played so damn good. And just I think both teams are clicking right now. I think Seattle's just a little bit better. I will take Seattle plus 1.5. All you have is your lock?
Yep.
Okay. Let's go to Sunday Night Football. The Lions and the Chiefs. What a matchup. The Chiefs are 2-3, but the Chiefs are playing good football. I understand they just lost to the Jaguars. I'm extremely interested to see what this offense looks like whenever they get Rashee Rice back, who he's going to be a big-time difference maker if his knee is healthy enough. We'll see how quickly he gets up to speed when he is allowed to come back. I think it would be the following week. You know what you're getting with this Lions offense. There's not really been any regression. If anything, they're better than last year because I think they've scored more points than anybody through the first 5 weeks. Defensively, though, the Chiefs are struggling to stop the run, and I think the Lions have the guys to run it. The offense, we're going to go over 52.5. I think that this has been bet up. Look, we record when we record. It is what it is. You could have got a better number yesterday. I'm still going to take the over here. I just think Mahomes is playing well, and then that Lions offense is, you know it well. They got weapons all across the board. I do think that Mahomes will be able to answer the bell, though, and put the points up on the board necessary to keep Kansas City in this game and if not win it outright. But we're not going to worry about a side here. We're going over 52.5. Terry and Arnold is hurt for the Lions. Not really much of a downgrade, to be honest, because he's god-awful. It's funny because the NFL picks these people. They did it with Sauce Gardner. They pick these DBs that are marketable and can do commercials and this and that, and they kind of prop them up and make you think that they're not awful. Terry and Arnold sucks. He's really bad. It doesn't matter. The backup's not going to be much of a drop-off, but Arnold was clearly starting for a reason. I think that there will be opportunity to exploit this Detroit secondary, and I think Mahomes is going to be able to do it. I think the Lions are going to be able to put points up on the board as well. I don't even want to have to worry about who's going to win the game, so we're going to go over 52.5, root for points, have fun, and we'll see how it goes. All you have left is your lock.
Yep.
All I have left is my lock. Nick has 2 plays and then his lock. He's on the Buccaneers -3 at home, taking on San Francisco. I can't get that. We faded Tampa and we've gotten burned so many times. It's like you don't want to, me personally, I don't want to hop on and then watch them fucking lose and then I feel like an idiot. But I mean, how many times are you going to fade them and watch Baker Mayfield win by 3.5, like whatever, come from behind and score a game-winning touchdown? He's done it every single week this year against good defenses too. It's not been against bad defenses. He did it against Seattle. He did it against Houston. He did it against Atlanta on the road. Not the best defense, but on the road. Did it against the Jets. Couldn't do it against Philly, but I mean, dude, it's been an impressive run from Baker Mayfield. And like I said earlier, he should seriously be in the MVP conversation. And Nick is also on the Browns, +5.5. I was that close to pulling the trigger on it, and it wouldn't shock me if this is a contest play. I'm just not a believer in this Steelers offense with Aaron Rodgers. The Browns defense is extremely good. It's worrisome, though. Dylan Gabriel, not only are you coming off your first start, it was in London. Now you got to fly all the way home, and then you got to go on the road into Pittsburgh. So, but at 5.5, I could not get there with the Steelers by any means. I just don't trust the offense. I don't trust Rodgers, and I think that they can get pressure on him and rattle him, and Rodgers wants to dink and dunk and all of that. I think Cleveland's got the defense to contain it. So that's the direction Nick's going, Browns +5.5. All we have left is our locks of the week. No such thing as a lock, but if there was...
It's a lock, Kramer. You've had this thing under control for almost 3 years now. But it's a lock.
They need that fucking juice. They need that next bet. They need... Come on. Yes! When they win, they go fucking crazy.
You're a bad motherfucker. Go in that shower, grab your fucking nuts, and tell the world somebody's sniffing my fucking nutsack today. Because I ain't got time to fuck around no more.
My lock of the week is going to be the Bears, +4.5 on Monday Night Football, going on the road to take on the Commanders, who just beat the Chargers and are riding high. Jaden Daniels is back. That Chargers team is decimated with injuries. It was a funky way for the Chargers to lose a game that they were nearly going to go up 17-0 in. You have the Bears coming off of a bye week. You have a spotty at best Commanders secondary. I think we're going to see a Ben Johnson-led offense and a sharp Caleb Williams off of a bye week. I think that, are they going to win? I don't know, but I think they cover this number. I don't think they lose by more than 4. So I will take the Bears plus 4.5 as my lock of the week. My number, personally, I made this 3.1. So got to go with it at that point. Bears plus 4.5 lock of the week. Which way are you going?
I'm going to the Titans at Raiders.
Okay.
Battle the terrible teams. I'm going to take the points with the Titans plus 5. I just think that's too many points for our terrible Raiders team to cover. And we're also seeing some flash out of Cam Ward. So
yeah, I don't disagree with that. Cam Ward has not looked he's not bad. He has talent. If he gets in a decent situation, which he's not in currently, but if he gets in a decent situation or if they put the talent around him, you're going to see Cam Ward potentially have some solid success in this league. Yeah, I don't want to touch either one of these teams, to be quite honest with you. I hope Genty runs for a lot, but then the Titans can cover. You said you're on the Titans, right?
Yep.
Yeah. The only thing, looking at this from a broad perspective or an outside perspective, I guess, is it was a fucking Christmas miracle that the Titans not only covered but won that game. And then Callahan probably celebrated. The whole team celebrated like fucking crazy. So it's like you're coming off of a game that you were lucky as shit to win. I'm not talking you off of it at all because there's nothing that you've seen from this Raiders defense that for any reason you should back them. And then Geno Smith's playing like dog shit. Personally, I'm not touching this with a 10-foot pole, but I can understand why you're taking the Titans. We'll see how it goes. I do think
it's going to be a tough watch for sure.
Yeah, definitely. It's a hold your nose and hope, basically. But I do think, for what it's worth, I think the Titans' D-line is not bad. You got Simmons over there. They can bother Geno, and he'll throw it to you. So we'll see how it goes there. Nick's lock of the week, also Monday night. Not the Bears and Commanders, though. Nick's lock is going to be the Falcons plus 4.5, which I have to say I agree with because we've been on the Falcons a number of times this year. Falcons at home, off a bye, rested, a serious offense. The issue for the Falcons was that they couldn't execute when they got into the red zone. We saw that kind of get a little bit better in their last time out. We've seen the Bills with, and I guess, making a case for the Falcons. He's not here to give you the reasoning, and he may have a completely different reasoning, but clearly this Bills defense has some holes. You saw the Patriots have success. You saw the Saints have success. And then offensively, too. They didn't have a lot of success running the ball with James Cook. So I can understand why at home you're going to take a Falcons team who I think is one of the – it all comes down to Penix. How is Penix going to play? I don't know that the Bills' defense has given you enough to – make you feel confident in laying a number like this against an offense with this many weapons. And when Penix is on, he's good. It's just are you able to rattle him? But I mean, they beat the Commanders, obviously dominated the Vikings. So yeah, that's Nick's lock of the week. Falcons plus 4.5. So to recap, Thursday night we're going Eagles -7. I'm taking the Cardinals plus 6.5. The Seahawks plus 1.5. The Lions and Chiefs over 52.5, and my lock of the week is the Chicago Bears plus 4.5. Nick is going Eagles -7 as well, Buccaneers -3, Browns plus 5.5, and then his lock of the week is the Falcons plus 4.5.
I'm going Eagles -7, Patriots Saints under 45.5, and my lock of the week is the Tennessee Titans plus 4.5.
There you go. That is our best bets of the week for NFL Week 6. Like I said, it's been a good go in the NFL. Everybody's profitable, but all it takes is 1 week for it all to come crashing down. So you got to keep avoiding regression like the plague, making good picks, making money. We're going to try to do it again. Episode 236 is in the books. Do you have anything to say before we go?
Nope.
That's right. Nick's not here. He's battling an illness. Send him your thoughts and prayers. Send him a message. Let him know you're thinking about him. Like I said, he's not here physically, but he was here in spirit. And who knows, if we run the board, if we run the table, cash every play, he might have to stay home again. Text the picks in. We'll have him zoom in. We'll do something. But That is our Best Bets. Episode 236 is in the books. College football week 7, NFL week 6. Hit the like and subscribe button if you don't mind. Like I said, we're on the fast track to 1,000 subscribers. We're nearly there. You can help us get to the finish line. And we're going to try to make some money. Y'all have a good one. Who dat?
The house always wins. Play long enough, you never change the stakes. The house takes you. Unless, when that perfect hand comes along, you bet big, and then you take the house.
Been practicing this good.
A little bit. Did I rush it? Felt like I rushed.
No, it's good. I liked it.